Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'm going to teach you the 8 most common blocks to manifestation and help you get back on track with what you're trying to create for your dream reality. Now let's get started. Common blocks to manifestation. Now, what I would recommend before you even dive into this video is I'm going to link below the 7 secrets to manifestation intro video in the description below, and I'll also link each of the deep dives we did on each of the individual 7 steps, because a lot of this stuff, if you haven't watched that series, we address a lot of this in those videos, because in order to teach you how to manifest effectively, then we first have to teach you things not to do as well as the things to do, and you work those together to be more successful with your manifestation. And I'm also going to link below a video we made on raising your vibration, because a lot of times, and we'll get into this point here, that can be an area where you're stuck. So let's get started. First, we have to engage our feelings when we ask for something. The subconscious mind, infinite intelligence, I see the subconscious mind as the bridge between our rational mind and the infinite intelligence of the universe. Well, the subconscious mind is like the messenger. You give the subconscious mind the question what you want. The subconscious mind then takes that information, translates it, and hands it up to the infinite source. Then it acts as the conduit between you and infinite source. It brings it back down, it untranslates it, and gives it to you. Because remember, the mind is an antenna. It can send messages and it can receive messages. And the subconscious mind, and we're going to use these just as a framework to help better illustrate the concept. The subconscious mind is kind of like a radio in that it steps up the frequency so that it can go out to source. Source brings the information back, it steps it down and gives it to you as the inspired actions to take, as the hunches, as the inspiration and things like that. Well, the subconscious mind deals in feelings. Will it respond to just your vanilla thoughts without any feelings attached to it? Yes, but the subconscious mind weighs most heavily towards feeling. You have to have a strong emotional feeling, and I recommend what I'm doing right here naturally. Put your hand, I'm gonna cover my little microphone, put your hand over your heart. When you put your hand over your heart, it's helping you to consciously align with your heart energy, with your heart chakra, and with your emotions. So putting your hand over your heart can be a great way, and you can even train yourself by doing it, that it will subtly, like Pavlov's dog, when he rings the bell and the dog salivate. When you put your hand over your heart, the more you practice that, it can become your trigger that puts you into that heart space, where you're in your feeling space. And that's why I always say in other videos too, if you wake up one day or just at some point during the day, you just find yourself feeling amazing. Maybe you play video games, you just had a great match online, you were the winner, and you're just surging with that accomplishment, and I feel great, and that dopamine rush. Capitalize on that. Anytime you're in that amazing feeling space, maybe you just had sex, not to get graphic, but maybe you just had sex and you're feeling great, you're on that high. Man, drop right into your manifestation, because you can use that. We can transmute law of perpetual transmutation of energy. We can transmute that energy and feeling into what we're trying to manifest. And that's the perfect time. It's much easier to use an emotional state that you just naturally had than trying to force, I don't use the word force, but to cultivate, yourself into a state necessarily. So whenever during the day you're feeling like, you had the cup of coffee in the morning and you're just like on point, hand over the heart, and then ask. And if you watch that 7 secrets, you'll see the asking phase is broken to 3 steps, but visualize what it is that you want. Ask for it with strong feeling. So the first block can be we're not engaging our emotions and our feelings effectively when we're asking for things. Now, on the flip side of that, are you letting go of it? Are you asking too much and doing not enough receiving? And I'm not trying to make anybody watching this paranoid about not doing it right. This is just some helpful advice if the manifestations aren't flowing the way you like them to. It's not like you have to write all these down and get them all perfect before it'll work. It's just one of these might resonate with you, and you may be doing one of these things, or one of these suggestions may be what you need to get your stuff in gear. So don't take it so seriously that you're going to be taking a bunch of notes and every day you're looking at it and making sure you're lined up right. But are you letting go? Because remember, when we're trying to manifest, it's like a phone call with the universe. If you're just busy talking, into here, you never give the universe a chance to answer. If you're constantly pushing this way with the asking, right? Because remember, this is an antenna. If your antenna is busy sending, it can't receive. So we need to stop the sending, let go for a period, Maybe a week or so. Maybe just let go of altogether asking for anything for a week. Maybe you've asked so much that it's all ready to come in, but you just keep asking. You're not giving the chance to the universe to receive, to give to you. You're not receiving. So just let it go for a week. That's what I always say. If you've been doing everything perfectly that you believe to be, just let go of it for a week. Completely forget the entire thing for a week or two and just see what happens. Sometimes that letting go, letting go in a way of trust, not like I'm letting go, I don't believe it's going to come, because that'll short circuit the whole thing. A letting go in that I've asked enough. I'm going to let go and trust, and I have faith. The universe is going to bring it to me. And do that for a week or 2 weeks or a month and see what happens. Meditation. I know, meditation is the one thing that we all know we should be doing. We should be meditating. And then we have all these reasons why we didn't, even though, sitting down with the eyes closed and breathing is the easiest, most hard thing you'll ever do. And we've got a lot of videos on meditation, and I'm going to link some of them below. But if you haven't heard of it before, but meditation is a beautiful way to quiet your mind, to quiet your ego. And more importantly, it's one of the main ways I recommend raising your vibration. And picking the best time of day to meditate is equally important. I was trying to meditate at the end of the day because I figured, well, it's great. I can wind down for the day. Before sleep, I'll meditate. I'll be nice. But I just kept struggling with it so much. And it wasn't until I listened to Abraham Hicks, one of her talks. And Abraham Hicks is great. If you haven't seen her, by the way, you should check her out. Where she was talking to a person who had the same problem, and she was like, well, you're doing it all backwards. Like, meditate in the morning. And she's like, but I don't want to meditate in the morning. She was like, I don't have time, but I never wanted to meditate in the morning because I felt like if I did that, it would make me tired. Like, I'd lose my energy in the morning. Where she was like, no, meditation's all about lowering your resistance to the universe, lowering your holding on, getting that vibration higher by releasing resistance. Well, in the morning, we're the least resistant because resistant lets go while we sleep. We don't have resistance. She's like, so when you wake up in the morning, not only that, but you have a lot of energy. Meditation is a very active experience. It's easier to do it in the morning before you've asked your mind to think all day. Because once you've asked your mind to think all day, by the time nighttime comes around, you're looking to meditate, your brain is just so set up to think and act and do, and it's also just been used all day, so it takes juice to meditate. It takes the mind to beat the mind when you're meditating. So it's easier to just do it in the morning, and that's when I switched to doing it in the morning. Completely changed my practice. I've done it for 4 days in a row now, and it's been great. It really helps me get in the zone. I get tons of ideas for these videos, and I can feel that my vibration is better. So along the same lines as meditation being one way to raise your vibration. Oh, and by the way, you don't need to do more than 15 minutes a day. If you're just starting, I recommend like 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes might feel like a lot if you've never meditated before. But you want to work up to at least 15 minutes. That seems to be a good time for me. I think as I practice more, I might start pushing towards 20 to 30, but I wouldn't go more than 30 like max. Like it's not necessary, But anyway, meditation's one way to raise the vibration. We need to just work on raising our vibration in general. It helps all of our manifestation efforts. Why? Because if our vibration's out of whack, as we know from the law of vibration, as we know from the law of correspondence, this outer reality is a mirror of what's going on within us. Whether you choose to believe that we're creating reality or we're simply aligning ourselves with a reality that's already out there, either way, the effect is the same. We are creating reality that we experience and perceive based on what's going on within us. So you need to look at ways to raise your vibration. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'm going to link the video below that we have on raising vibration because there's a lot of different ways. But one thing I will say is raising vibration a lot of times isn't so much about you pushing the vibration up as much as it is you stop holding it down. Your vibration's like a balloon. If you were to take all the weight off of it, it would just rise. Naturally, it's where it wants to be. The energy naturally wants to rise up. It's just we have so many things that are holding our vibration down that it just keeps our vibration low. That's how meditation works. When you meditate, you're not raising your vibration, you're quieting your ego and your mind such that you're no longer holding it down. It's kind of the opposite of what you think. So I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, the video is below. You guys can check it out. Who and what are you surrounding yourself with in your life? Are you around negative people? Are you, for real, family. Remember, and I say this in a lot of videos, hot take, just because someone shares blood with you does not make them family. Family is who you choose to have. Family are people that uplift you, not people that bring you down. If you're with people, and more than 50% of the time, when you're around these people over a long period of time, you feel worse for having dealt with them than better, then those are people that you might want to look at working with that relationship, seeing if we can work with that. You know, is it something we can work with? Is that karma for us to work with this person? Or is it karma for us to learn that we need to cut ties with them? You know, it doesn't matter. Mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa. It doesn't matter. Again, blood does not make family. Okay? You choose your family. So, and that's just a little my side tangent there. But are you surrounding yourself with negative people? You know, are you going to places that are heavy? You know, you're living in some inner city where there's, you know, murders happening around the corner. And I have lived in a place like that. I'm not just saying that, like, and the energy was heavy there. The environment was heavy, but it was the cheapest house I could get. I could afford to buy at the time. And I lived there for years, you know, probably at least 4 or 5 years before I finally was like, just driving me nuts there. So I had to move back to the country. What kind of things are you allowing into your life? Food is a big one. What kind of food are you eating? If you feel worse after eating the food, then that's something you might want to get rid of. Stuff like, you know, lots of processed sugar, lots of carbohydrates. You know, if you eat a bunch of pasta and you feel like shit for 2 hours afterwards, you know, that might be something you want to cut back on. Or the sugars. You know, if you're eating so much sugar, you get the high and then the crash. Maybe you want to cut that stuff out because, again, food will directly affect your vibration. You know, what we eat is what builds this body, this avatar. And what kind of media are you ingesting? Are you watching the news every night? I mean, the news is one of the first things I would cut out. It's unnecessary. The news makes more money and more eyeballs on the screen with the more negative they can become, the more scared they can make you. So first of all, understand that across this globe, I want to say there's only 3 to 5 main conglomerates that control the news that you see on mainstream media anyway, TV news, you know, and it's already been proven that the US government, at least, and I'm sure all governments around the world to some degree, control and leverage the media to gain control and to gain the effect they want on the populace. Look at Superman, you know. Superman was propaganda. It was created out of propaganda to make America like, you know, America's great and, you know, these people over here are not great. And it was war propaganda, basically. I mean, think about Captain America. I mean, good Lord, just right in the name. You know, well, in the same token, if they keep you afraid, they keep you small and you're easy to control. So, and it really doesn't matter. I hate to say this, but things you have no direct control over, there's really not a point in bogging your mind down with it. You know, what are you really going to do about whatever it is that's happening in XYZ country? Are you going to go over there and volunteer and help? You know, donating your money online is nice, but if there's not much else you can do, then you're taking on all the weight and the negative of keeping that story in your mind of whatever's happening in whatever country, right? But you can't really do anything about it. So wouldn't it be better for you and for the universe as a whole and the planet if you instead raised your vibration by not weighing yourself down with things you have no control over? Now, if something's happening in your local community, then yes, you can be engaged, you can take physical action towards it, and your energy can be effective in person in handling it. But I don't want to get too much in a tangent. I'm going to make a video on that topic specifically. But what kind of news, you know, if you're watching the news, cut that out. You know, that's my opinion. Are you watching things like scary movies? You know, why would you want to raise fear in yourself? That you're just giving yourself a lower vibrational energy. You know, let's get rid of that stuff. Are you on the phone all the time? You know, one of the best ways to raise the vibration is putting the smartphone down. Yep. Don't look at it in bed. At the bare minimum, do not look at it in bed at least an hour before bed. And I wouldn't look at it until at least an hour after waking up. There's neuroscience. Andrew Huberman from Huberman Labs has proven with neuroscience that, you know, cell phone use, especially in the first hour of the morning, completely throws your neurochemistry out of whack because you're getting dopamine from the phone such that dopamine is the motivating juice that you get rewarded with when you take action. Well, if you get it from the phone, you're not going to go take action out in your life to make your life better. You'll be more content to look at the phone instead of creating and manifesting the life you want. So these are just some of the things you can do. I don't want to get stuck on that too long. But again, examining beliefs. Beliefs is a big one where I think a lot of people get stuck. You can't manifest something for yourself if you don't believe you can have it. If you don't believe you should have it, even a deeper belief there. If you don't believe that you can have it, if you don't believe that you should have it, if you don't believe it's good, if you think money's bad, well, you're not gonna manifest money because you're naturally repelling it with the belief. If you don't believe that, you know, if your belief is that story that your parents told you that, you know, we're poor working class people, money doesn't grow on trees, that kind of a belief, that negative belief that your parents laid into you, you know, thank them for that. Our parents give us all kinds of stuff. As kids, we're sponges. We just absorb, you know. Well, if you believe that you come from a poor family, well, then you're going to always be fighting uphill to get money because the second you get too much of it, that belief goes, no, we're poor people, and it pushes it away. That's why you see so many people that win the lottery and they go broke within months or years, and they're even in more debt and everything else than they were to begin with, because that it's a visceral just no reaction, because your beliefs don't believe you deserve to have it, or you don't believe it's a good thing, or you just don't believe you can have it. So instead of asking, you need to go inside introspection and dig up those beliefs, understand what is going on there. We go into a lot of that in the 7 Secrets video series, so check that out. Now, another area people can get stuck is you needing to do that shadow work and needing to do the inner child healing first. That kind of ties into beliefs a little bit. These last 3 kind of feed into each other, but sometimes we got to do that shadow work. Sometimes we're in a place where we're safe enough now that our body and our mind and our being, our inner being, is going to start bubbling up things we need to deal with. And perhaps we're not ready to go make the life of our dreams yet, because the foundation needs to be repaired first. Perhaps we're safe enough that we can start to examine the traumas of childhood, maybe traumas we completely forgot about. But now that we're safe, those memories start to bubble up and you're like, oh, wow, I was sexually abused as a child or whatever. And you're like, I completely didn't even remember that until now that I'm in a safer spot, to deal with that. And that's, I didn't forget. I mean, that's happened to me, but I didn't forget about it. But it wasn't a big deal. If anyone that's been in that situation, you understand what I'm saying. It's like, I just didn't think about it, and it wasn't really until, later in life when I was safer, and I was like, I think I was like 19, I think. And that's when I kind of started this journey for myself 15 years ago. But that's when I became more aware of it, and it came to my consciousness like, hey man, that happened to you, and that's something you've got to figure out. You know what I mean? So I had to go through the shadow work and dealing with that inner child healing, and also just going through shadow work in general. Going through all of the habits and the crap that we picked up from childhood, from our parents, from society, from school, and just examining each and every one of those beliefs and going, okay, I have anger issues. We don't even need to know why so much. We just need to work on, being better, becoming more aware. Awareness is the first step to healing anything. So you're becoming aware of yourself. A lot of times you have to work on yourself before these outer manifestations will come to you, because you're just not ready for it. If you built an entire empire on this shaky foundation where you haven't done any of the work yet, then very much like the tower moment in the tarot, it's just going to come crumbling down until you fix and build up that foundation first. So do some of that work. And lastly, you could have some ancestral trauma energy to clear up. Maybe that belief that we're poor people, we're working class people, we don't have a lot of money, maybe that wasn't just your parents. Maybe that's been 10 generations back. And with each generation reinforcing the belief with their intention and their energy, it gets to be this big monster that just goes from generation to generation, and you might not even be aware of it because of how pervasive it was. So there's things you can do to clean up your ancestral trauma and your energy. I'm going to make a video about this. By the time I post this video, it may or may not be ready. So check the description. If it's not there, when I make a video on this, it'll be down there. I'm currently studying this topic, but it's a deep topic. So I want to give it time for me to really, truly understand it before I go up here, and start spreading the information, and before we start digging into that, because that can be a serious kind of thing to get into. Now, belief, maybe it's not serious. Maybe it's just my belief about it. But sometimes you could be doing everything right, and it's the ancestral trauma that's holding you back. And there's ways that you can clear that up, even if all of your family is passed or you don't have contact with them, doesn't matter. You can do that work within yourself by connecting with the energy and cleaning up all that. But in any case, my friends, those are the 8 most common blocks to manifestation. I hope you found something useful in here. If you did, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, ping the notification bell, and leave me a comment below. Which one of these do you think is currently what you need to work on? Maybe you didn't know about ancestral trauma healing. Maybe you really haven't meditated and you're kind of just like, I tried and it was hard. And maybe seeing this is like, wow, I should really do this. And by the way, I'm going to link another link below. The benefits to meditation, scientifically proven. I believe that video, we go over 30 or so benefits to meditation. I tell you, if I put it on a pill bottle that you got all these benefits, you'd be out there paying any price for it, taking it every day. But the best part is it's free. The worst part is it's really hard. It's the simplest, hardest thing you'll ever do. But anyway, I'm getting carried off again. Well, I can't wait to see you guys next time. Make it a great day. Peace.